When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, as always, Colleen Biggs. We're talking about my favorite subject today, attracting more clients, but we're going to be talking about how to do that with content creation today. We have Bonnie Chomica with us, all the way from Canada. And she's going to be telling you all the tricks and tools on how to attract more clients, essentially make more money through the best content creation. But before we get to our guest, I want to thank our sponsor, BizBolster Web Solutions, of today's show. Imagine if you increase the visits to your website to have a consistent flow of new business. Well, BizBolster Web Solutions designs websites and setups tools that not only attract new prospects, but also starts building the know, like, and trust factor for those prospects when they land on your website. Through exceptional website and targeted SEO, our clients are not only found online, but are also able to convey their area of expertise as well as the what's in it for me to their prospects. Imagine if it was that easy for you to increase sales for your business by driving more traffic to your website. Well, it is. Be sure to visit BizBolster Web Solutions at bizbolster.com to download your free SEO guide and schedule your discovery session today. I'm going to highly recommend that all of you click on that link and get that free guide. So here we go with our guest today. We're talking all about attracting more clients, driving more leads through your content creation. And as the content creation mentor, Bonnie Chomica coaches her solopreneur clients to go from sporadically creating content to consistently producing compelling and engaging content so they can get more exposure, build their authority, and attract more clients. With over 30 years in the marketing communication space, that's right, 30 years. And as a business owner since 2012, Bonnie draws on her vast experience to share practical information so clients are confident to share their impactful messages. Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Colleen. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, I am really excited to dive into this topic. So you've been in the marketing communication space for 30 years. I would love to learn a little bit, and I'm sure our listeners do too. What have you learned from way back in the day, right? When we chiseled on stone, that's how our marketing went out, to today. Some vast changes, right, have happened in the industries over time. I heard that, we went from getting, 8 impressions is what you needed to get to a person. And now it's moved up to something to like 14 or 18. I don't even know. Back in the day when I was building businesses and helping them market, you wanted to get in front of someone 8 times. You wanted to touch them 8 times. We had this different type of marketing plan put together. Tell me how it's changed over the years and what it looks like today and the things we need to be aware of for, attracting these clients through how we're creating our content.
It's a great question because my marketing career started before the internet.
That's right.
And so if you were going to launch a product, you had a team of people that hopped on a plane and went from coast to coast to train your salespeople, get in front of clients and launch whatever it was. As fun as that was when I was younger, it's not something I, would like to do today. So it was really about being in front of people. It was hosting events, a lot of kind of, cocktail hour type thing, Christmas parties, very, very social. So it was about building relationships with those clients. And most of the people we worked with were major accounts like airlines and banks and retail chains and government accounts. So we had a team of people that worked with their team of people. So it really was about relationship building. And that hasn't changed at all today. It's just we're doing it more online. Certainly, there's still, we're back to in-person events now. But I think, a great deal of the world is more comfortable online. And even I think of myself, when I started my business here where I live, I spent a lot of time local marketing, chambers of commerce, women's networking groups. And then when COVID came along and online networking came along, I'm now talking and working with people around the globe. So that's a significant change right there. As far as marketing is concerned, we're still talking about the same principles of marketing. You need a product, you need a place to sell it, you need someone to buy it, and you need to promote it. That hasn't changed. It's just really about the channels that we use. But it's still about standing out, having a clear message, and being consistent in putting that message out there.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because what you say matters. And what are some tips that you give, when working with your clients on the consistency? Is that a how often? Is that a through certain channels? And, being consistent on your message as well, right? Not just on your regular postings or marketing, but also in your message. What are some of the tips that you can give our listeners on how we do that? How do we even get started? What's the first step to that?
Yeah, the first thing is, most people have a passion for what they're doing and how they want to help people, whatever that is, like dog walking or life coaching or anything in between. You have to like what you're doing. Otherwise, you're forcing yourself, and it's not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to look confident. So that's a big thing. Pull out what you love, what your passions are, and really know who you're speaking to. Who are you writing to? Who are you speaking to? Because, if you have a male audience, you're going to speak to them differently than you would a female audience or a senior versus a teenager. Like, think in that perspective of that, ideal person. And then when you're delivering your content, you talk to that one person, or you write to that one person. You use what I call you language, instead of we, us, ours, turn that into you and yours. Somewhere in the mix, you can talk about, we do this, or I help you do this. But at the very outset, you need to talk to them personally. Think about opening an email. Yeah, that's someone's private inbox. That's their private space. So if you have permission to be there, you need to respect that space. Yeah. And when they open it, you should be talking to them, not to a group audience. So that's one idea, right?
I love that you said that. Because you started off by saying you want to be authentic, right? So I always say, drop the armor, drop the masks, whatever it is. You need to show up as you and be completely authentic in the moment for who you are. And that makes doing video easy, because I don't have to think about what I'm going to say when I'm talking here on the podcast with you. It's just a conversation that we're having to give some more education to the listeners, right? And it's the service that we offer to those that have chosen to be loyal and listen to our podcast, right? So we want to give them what we can give them as education. And then you mentioned be very clear about who you're talking to. So knowing that is very important. Are you speaking to teenagers, young adults? Are you speaking to women over 50? Are you speaking to men over 30, right? How you speak to those are going to be very different, because me speaking to an empty nester, my words are going to look a lot different than speaking to one of my daughters who has 4 children at home, right?
Totally.
She's going to take that information differently. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And then I think the golden nugget here was speaking in you terms. So when I was taught at one point that when you write content, you read it as if you're talking to someone directly. And if it doesn't sound like you're talking to someone directly, change it. That's what I was taught. And that's exactly what you're saying. So it's good to know that I was taught correctly, on how to do that. But even just those 3 things that you mentioned right there are key. And people want to know you care before they want to know what you do or how you're going to help them, right? They want to know you care first. So do you, in your content creation, do you add a nurturing kind of piece to that, of relationship building that happens within that content creation?
I guess certainly there is that, because you want people to think that you get them, right? Yeah. I understand your challenges, or I understand your desires, and I may be in a position to help you without outwardly promoting, right? Mm-hmm. You want them to feel comfortable and welcome them into your circle, and that's where the nurturing starts. And then you get to a point. Again, depends on what you're creating. Like, let's look at your website, for example. Your website is a promotional piece. Mm-hmm. It's an online brochure, your online storefront, but you can still be welcoming and inviting and helpful at the same time. If you want them, and then on your website, you would have different things to engage them further, whether that's a free download or an invitation to a free call, so that you further the conversation. But you want to pique their interest. It's like, yeah, I like how this lady thinks, and she gets me. So I want to learn more.
Yeah.
The premise behind it.
Yeah. And I have received emails from, newsletters that I'm subscribed to that just really hits me every time. And my favorite are the ones that relate to me and tell me a story. Like, you won't believe, or when I started my business, I felt like I was failing. And then you're like, well, I got to open this up and read it now, because she'll say, I love sitting on the porch with my dad and having these deep conversations. You're like, well, what conversation did she have with her dad on the porch? So you want to open up the email to see what it was. And I think what it does is it gives us a glimpse into this person's life for us to realize that everyone's just people just like us, right? We're all out there doing our thing, but it takes all of us out there doing our thing to make this world go round, from everyone in the world. And what you have to say as an individual for our listeners, it's important. And you can't attract the right people to you if you're not speaking the way you authentically would speak to hanging out with a friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't want to be someone you're not, or you don't want to come across as someone you're not. Goes back to authenticity and being genuine, because people do business with people. They don't care about your logo and your brand and your colors and, you got this fancy thing. It's like, what can you do for me? How can you help me? So it's not about being, overly creative and fancy. It's about being real. So I think of myself as a coach. I'm doing work with people. Yeah. I'm not telling them what to do, to a certain extent, but I want to move them along, together. And I think most people want that. They want help. They're looking for support, and they don't want just, okay, here, go away and do this. They do want that hand holding and cheerleading, that we all want that pat on the back or encouragement. And that's a way you can, help out your clients.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And you had mentioned, that talk to us about a time where, this, for some people, this might sound very scary, Bonnie. Like, you and I are okay on video. We're very comfortable talking to people, writing out content, being visible, right? Getting out and being visible. We're very comfortable with that. A lot of people are not. And so what do you suggest for the ones that aren't comfortable and they're scared because they still have that disbelief and that fear that someone doesn't want to hear from them, or they don't care what they have to deliver, And I always say, you're not trying to attract everyone. You're only trying to attract the ones that are interested and have a problem that you're addressing, that you become the solution for. So what do you say to clients? Obviously, I'm sure you have a lot of clients that are stuck on, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write. I don't even know how to get myself out there.
That's the number one thing why people don't produce content. I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to speak about, and who's going to listen to me. I do. And when I started, I used to do content marketing for people. So I wrote the website content, the blogs, the emails. And then after a few years, I started coaching people. People were coming to me because they wanted to build this content foundation. And so that all worked out. But when I started coaching people, I'm just thinking, how to write a blog or how to start a newsletter. But really, this whole mindset thing came up. I'm like, wow, I'm not a mindset coach, but it really is a big part of it. We talk about being consistent. That's how you be visible. That's how you become more visible, is putting content out there regularly. But again, back to the what do I talk about? So I help them really, introspective. It's your experience. It's your knowledge, your skills. You have that. You're not trying to be better than somebody else. It's like you've got a message that you have a big desire to get out there. Yeah. So let's warm you up to being, think of that one person instead of thinking, I need to talk to the masses. Think of that one person and how you can help them. And that really helps them narrow things down. And then what do I talk about? Well, that just takes a little planning. You know what their problems are and how you can position yourself for what the solution is. Yeah. But again, where do I start? It's like, well, just pick one topic and start there. And as you move forward, the ideas will start percolating. And I've got lists of places you can get, nurture ideas and your creative juices to get topic ideas. Yeah. But then you just turn them into your own, right? Think of your audience and what would help them. And then you start collecting like a library of those topics. And some of them you put on the shelf for now. It's like, oh yeah, that would be good. But let it sit and percolate. And then a little ways down the road, that would make a great blog post. Or now I've got the information I need to make that a blog post. Or I need to do a Facebook Live. Here's a best topic, what's going on in the world that I can do. So it's building on things. It's not just this is going to happen. It's really building and planning. That's how you become consistent is putting a plan in place.
Yeah. And I would say a lot of people probably don't have those plans in place or even know, where to start. So you said you work with a lot of solopreneurs. Do you still work with nonprofits and some of the other companies, or are you just mainly working with solopreneurs now?
Most solopreneurs. I do have a couple of kind of brick and mortar type clients, but yeah, mostly coaches and speakers and authors, service providers, trying to get their important message out in the world.
And do you work with them to help them create that plan and put it all together, or is it a done for you type of opportunity?
No, it's done with them.
With them.
So I give them an idea, and I don't use a specific, tool or method. I have to meet them where they're at. So they can create their own process, so they can be accountable to themselves. Yeah. And that could be, one blog post a month. It could be one blog post every week. It could be, I don't want to be on video, so, let's do social media in a different way. So it's about that plan. What are you going to produce? And then how are we going to promote it? Like people, like if you write a blog post, I'll just keep on that track. If you write a blog post, no one knows it's there until you send it in an email or social media. So you need to promote that. Yeah. But I give them a lot of direction and feedback on what they're creating. So some people are really good at writing, but they don't maybe structure it as well as it could be, or there's kind of marketing language that could be added to it, whether that's, subject line or call to action. But the middle part is usually all coming from them. Yeah. Same as video, do a video for me and I'll critique how you're coming across, what your language, your energy, all of those things. So a lot of it is feedback on what they're creating.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned mindset, because some people have told me I was a mindset coach. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I need you to understand that every single thing you coach on comes all the way back to mindset every single time. A coach that's coaching Michael Jordan back in the day had to coach him on mindset, because your mindset is everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You either know or think you can win the game, or you think you can't. It's Henry Ford. You think you can or you think you can't. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe some of our listeners out there, this could be you listening, and you think, man, I think it is mindset. Like, I think I just have this block of writing what I feel or what I want to say because I'm afraid of how other people are going to react to it. I'm afraid of how people are going to judge me. And I say, who cares to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to get out there and share your message. A speaking coach once told me, Bonnie, that only people out there that need to hear a message from you can hear it from you. So if Bonnie, if you gave the exact same message today that I gave yesterday, but someone needed to hear the message from you, they would only hear it today from you. You know how some things go in one ear and out the other, and
Absolutely.
all of a sudden you hear it and you're like, oh my gosh. And your friend looks at you and they said, I've been telling you that for 5 years. And you're like, but I needed to hear it from this person today in this moment.
Yes.
So if we're hiding, staying small, staying invisible in the world, there's no way we're going to attract our right client through content. There's no way we can do that. You've got to get out there, tell people who you are, what you do, what problems you solve, how you solve them, how they can reach out to you, how they can get in your circle, how they can follow you, how they can be part of your life. It's very interesting. I utilize my Facebook page, for everything, for videos, for my personal photography. I put up a trip that I was at Grenada, and I had like 125 comments,
Yes.
on my trip to Grenada. Now, to a lot of people, that's not a lot of comments, but that's a lot of comments, considering that most of the time when I put up a photo of something of work or a quote, or I do a video, doing a podcast video, we get less than that. And it's because people want a glimpse into you. That's why reality TV is so popular.
Absolutely.
They want to know you. So get that. Get that right now through your brain, that they want to know you. So if you're not talking to them and you're not showing up and you're not visible and you're not consistently putting anything out there, you're not going to attract the clients that you need to attract, because you simply are invisible.
You're invisible. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, it doesn't work if you just use Facebook ads. It doesn't work if you just use Google ads. It doesn't work unless you're selling one product like a pet bed. The only thing you want to do is just get out there and promote it. So when people look up best pet beds, they find yours, or you put them on Amazon, right? Then that's a whole different story. You don't need to be out in the, yeah. But the people that are downloading my podcast and my listeners and my loyal community out there, they're running businesses and they really want to know, how do I attract more clients? And Bonnie gave us all the tips today on how you guys do that. She's been very clear on what those nuggets will look like. And you've got to start by getting out there and doing something to attract that person. So Bonnie, I know you have a free ebook, so let's talk about that, and then how everyone can reach you and find you, and what's the best way for them to connect with you.
Great. I do have a free gift today, and it's 9 client attracting writing tips. It's an ebook. From a content perspective, I did this as a speech many years ago. So I turned that speech into this ebook. That's called repurposing content. So if you're looking for things to create, look at recreating them. But in the book, there's tips for anybody. It's not copywriting. It's not content writing. It's about everyday writing in all of your business and marketing. It's simple to understand, lots of examples, and you can implement them like right away today. Yeah. So that's out there.
Yeah. And then you're on Facebook, right? But you've got a website, bonniechomica.com.
That's correct. bonniechomica.com. And there's the ebook is on there. There's links to get a free call. I call it a prosperity call, so we can have a chat about what you're trying to achieve, and if content marketing and me can help you.
Yeah. You can also connect with her on LinkedIn. So those of you that follow and utilize LinkedIn as your business platform, you can connect with her, Bonnie Chomica, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. It's B Chomica, B as in boy, and then Chomica on Instagram. And so you can find her out there as well. And I always recommend, if you're looking for more information on content creation, start by following people, if anything, download the free ebook. Start following her on her LinkedIn page, her Instagram page, Facebook, and you can start getting a lot of content that way, from individuals, and connect with Bonnie and really figure out what your first steps need to be for you to get visible and start attracting those clients. So Bonnie, it's been a wonderful conversation with you today.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, it's been really great. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen out there, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you. Get that right now. You're the only you that will ever be. There will never be another you. She said, when you stand out, it's from being you, from being authentic, the strongest you can be, and showing up in the vulnerability, showing up in the fun, in the passion, in your bathing suit on a weekend, sailing around the world like I was for a week, whatever it is, show up and share your life and your business with others so they can get to know you, they can like you, and they can trust you. And that, that's how you attract the right clients. Again, you don't need a wide net. You're not trying to attract everyone. You're just trying to attract the right people. Yeah. And I wrote a book about that. So you can click in the link below and get a copy of my book, which talks all about how you step into the spotlight and attract the right clients, because the content creation part, I don't even think that was part of my book, Bonnie, but you bet I'm going to be giving you a call when we do volume 2, because content creation is a big piece on how you attract the right clients and attract more clients to you. So stop being invisible, everybody, and get out there and get yourself visible and be seen and be heard for sure. Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a lovely conversation.
Thank you, Colleen.
All right, everybody. Until next time, don't forget, be you and be strong. We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.